Let's look at this equation. X divided by 4 minus 8 equals to 11/8. First step I'm going to take in this problem is I'm going to add 8 to both sides. Adding 8 to both sides, the 8's cancel on the left. I get x divided by 4 equals to 11/8 plus 8. So I have 11/8 plus 8 over 1. To add these two fractions, I have to get a common denominator. My common denominator has to be at least as large as your largest denominator, which is 8. So I'm going to convert both of these fractions to 8s. If your old denominator is the same as your new denominator, you just bring over the numerator. How many times does 1 divide into 8? 8 times. And what's 8 times 8? 64. It's kind of like you're just multiplying both numerator and denominator times 8. You multiply 1 times 8 to get to 8. Well, if you multiply the denominator times 8, you got to multiply the numerator times 8. So that's how I get 64/8. Now write down that common denominator. 11 plus 64 gives you 75. So when I added these two fractions together, I got 75/8. Now to undo the division of x divided by 4, I will multiply both sides by 4. Multiplying both sides by 4. 4's over 1. The 4's cancel here. I get x is equal to 75/8 times 4 over 1. Now I could do this problem by multiplying straight across and reducing, but I'm going to go ahead and just cross reduce. I can cross reduce the 4 and the 8. 4 divides into 4 1. 4 divides into 8 2. Now multiply straight across. 75 times 1 is 75, and 2 times 1 gives me 2. So 75/2 would be my final answer. Let's look at the next problem here. What is the first operation to perform in this problem? If you were going to solve this problem, what would be your first operation? Well, your first operation would be to add 5. So if you had to write a step, your first step would be to add 5 to both sides. There is an example in your homework that asks you for the first operation, so I just wanted to us to talk about the first step in solving a problem, and that was our answer to this problem. You would add 5 to both sides. Looking at one more example here, we want to isolate the variable. Let's add 6 to both sides. If you add 6 to both sides, the 6's cancel on the left. You end up with 1/8 y equals to negative 19 plus 6 gives you negative 13. To undo the multiplication of a fraction times a variable, multiply both sides by the reciprocal of the coefficient. The coefficient's 1/8. The reciprocal of 1/8 is 8 over 1. Multiply both sides by 8 over 1. Here the 8's would cancel, leaving 1y equals to negative 13 times 8. We'll multiply it out, and that's negative, so I know my answer is going to be negative. 8 times 3 is 24. Carry my 2. 8 times 1 is 8, plus 2 gives me 10. So I end up with negative 104. That's your final answer. Y equals to negative 104.